Продовжуємо роботу в Україні.
We continue our working day at Ukraine Crisis Media Center. Now the floor is given to Colonel Oleksandr Motuzyanyk, Ministry of Defense of Ukraine spokesperson on ATO-related issues. Good afternoon, everyone. During the last 24 hours, the situation in the NTO zone remained tense. The enemy continued shelling of positions of Ukrainian armed forces, including with the use of mortars of different caliber, on the whole launching 130 mines. Now, information in more detail. The Lugansk sector, the enemy started its activity during second part of the day, and during dark hours at 5 p.m., the illegal armed groups delivered mortar shelling of our positions in the region of Tryk-Izbinka, in the course of which 10 bursts of 120 millimeter of caliber and 12 of 82 millimeter of caliber shells were recorded. And after 7 p.m., the enemy 3 times shelled with mortars our positions near Krymska. Also, positions near Novotoshkivske and Travneva came under mortar fire of the enemy. On the whole, the enemy launched at the positions of our defenders 20 120 millimeter and 25 82 millimeter mines. And in the evening, the militants delivered 6 non-precision shellings with the use of 120 millimeter mortars. Delivered fire at our positions near Zaitsevo. Also, the occupants shelled the positions of Ukrainian armed forces near Oleksandrivka, Lugansk, Lozove, and Svetlodarsk. The enemy used small arms and grenade launchers. And on the whole, during the last 24 hours in the Lugansk sector, 20 firing provocations carried out by the enemy were recorded, and in 8 instances, Ukrainian servicemen returned fire with the use of mounted grenade launchers, large caliber machine guns, and other types of small arms. In the Donetsk sector, there were 15 enemy shellings. Here, the enemy actively used 120 millimeter and 82 millimeter mortars. In the morning, militants launched 10 mines of 82 millimeters in the direction of our positions near Chermalika. After this, Piski, Gnutova, and Shakhta Butova came under enemy fire. Also, the enemy intensely shelled with the use of mounted grenade launchers and small arms our positions in the region of Avdiivka, Marinka, Piski, Gnutova, Starognativka, Shirokina, Kamenka, and Krasnogorivka. And in each case, servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine returned precision fire with the use of weapons that are not prohibited by the Minsk agreements. On the whole, during the last 24 hours, Russian occupation forces delivered 35 shellings of our positions along the line of confrontation. And in order to destroy personnel and active firing means of the enemy, servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine 22 times returned fire. In enemy shelling near Avdiivka, 2 defenders of Ukraine were wounded. 3 more servicemen in the region of Pisk and Lozove were shell-shocked. All the servicemen were promptly evacuated to military mobile hospitals, where they are provided with necessary medical assistance, and nothing threatens their lives. According to information provided by main intelligence department of the MOD, from the start of December, Russian occupation forces in Donetsk and Lugansk Oblast started recruitment of formerly convicted local residents, and it caused further increase in the number of military crimes, the instances of AWOL and non-combat casualties, including with the use of with drug abuse. And during the first 10 days of December this year, in one of the units of so-called First Army Corps, 5 cases of going AWOL were recorded, and also the death of 1 militant in result of overdose was also recorded. And at the same time, servicemen of the armed forces of Ukraine, jointly with the specialists of State Emergency Service of Ukraine, and supported by local government, restored electricity supply in Travneva. Officers of Group of Civil and Military Cooperation North delivered to units that carry out missions in the ATO autonomous generators, power source, and fortification equipment and technical ammunition. And Chernihiv State Administration Union of Volunteers Entrepreneurs of Nizhyn, staff of Naftogaz Ukraine, and All Ukrainian Association, Cadet Association, and Ukrainian Diaspora from Canada also participated on board for Ukrainian defenders 10 sets of communication equipment. And a group of civil and military cooperation Marienka accompanied and provided security to volunteers of NGO that is called HELP. They brought to the gray area food products, winter clothes, and hygienic kits, electrical cable, and toys for children. And civil and military cooperation group Verdansk provided unimpeded access and movement to the doctors of NGO that is called Doctors Without Borders, and physician, ophthalmologist, and psychologist provided help to 15 local residents, and officers of groups organized and provided for the work of dentist room Trident 2 and the servicemen who serve at the line of confrontation underwent dentist examination. And over the last week, 40 participants of anti-terror operation were awarded by the ministry. From the start of ATO, the Ministry of Defense awarded more than 49,000 people, and state awards were presented to 45.5 thousand, and the status of combat participants were awarded to 220,000 servicemen and workers of the armed forces of Ukraine who took part in ATO. Please first introduce yourself. Oksana Kharkova. Tell us, please, do you know about criminal investigation that is open against the on the 7th of December, and whether the investigation was started, and what about the circumstances of the conflict, whether there were complaints before, and what is the state of Mr. Bezonich now? So today's briefing is dedicated to the events that happened in the ATO area during the last 24 hours, and I do not know about you can address your questions to law enforcement bodies.